Welcome to Let's Talk Influence. I'm sitting here with Praveen Emmanuel, award-winning photographer. This episode is how do you tell a story?
Right,
Something which people struggle with.
right.
Because as you said, everybody's got a story.
Yeah,
But then not everybody can tell a story.
yeah.
You being a photographer, more than speaking,
Yeah.
you tell a story through the lens.
Yes.
But then how do we actually tell a story?
Okay, that's a great question. I think it's a tough question to directly answer. So let me give you a few steps. First thing is you need to know your subject well.
So know your subject well.
Know your subject really well, and then once you know your subject well, keep improvising. Whatever your subject may be, it could be your cat, it could be your community, it could be your parents, it could be your old grandmother. Whatever your subject is, know your subject well, and then keep doing it. Keep doing it. That's how improvisation comes, right? Bring excellence in what
Be
you do.
consistent in what you're doing.
Exactly. Be consistent in your subject. Also, second thing is practical, tip. Don't lose that excitement.
Oh, don't lose that
Yeah,
excitement.
don't lose that excitement. Keep going at it. Keep saying, sometimes we start projects, right? I don't know if you've experienced it. We start something, we're very excited about this, and then slowly maybe the likes go down or people stop appreciating, and then it just dies off. The thing is consistency. The thing with consistency, it's like a marathon. You gotta keep working at it. Don't worry about response and likes.
In fact,
and
the fact
numbers.
that we are doing this episode is
Yeah.
about a consistency.
Exactly. It's all about consistency.
We're not we're just saying how can we help people.
Yes.
And then we are intentional about what we're
Yes,
doing and we are
exactly.
passionate about
Yes,
it.
This is a great example.
Yeah.
And I think with the same thing, if you simplify, whatever your subject is, keep doing it for years and years. And that's how.
And you get better in a way.
Exactly. So the Japanese have this philosophy called Kaizen. Kaizen is a way the Japanese have invented. So what they do is they take one thing, Ashwin, one profession or one art form, and they dedicate their entire life on this.
It's a beam focus.
Yes. So, for example, a swordsmith, right? Over the years, every day they ask this question, how can I get better? And they dedicate their entire life at getting better at what they do.
So in a way, if you're a speaker,
Yeah.
again and again
Keep
go
working,
after it.
yeah.
I remember a famous speaker. He's got a church of over 400,000 people.
Right.
I remember the time when he told me that there were many days when in his early days, nobody would call him to speak.
Right.
And when you're a speaker, that's very frustrating,
Yeah,
You want invitations, but then no invitations. So you know what he did? He would go to a closed room, look at the wall and speak.
Yes.
For 2 years, he spoke to the walls. He would speak to this wall,
Wow.
and then 30 minutes, and then he'll say, no, let me do the same 30 minutes in this wall.
Right.
For 2 years. But
Yeah.
you know what he was doing is exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
He was perfecting it.
Exactly.
Today he's got a large church of more than 400,000 people.
Yeah.
But then it started with perfection.
So, let me also, say this, that photography is not easy. Not everybody can be a professional photographer, right? If that's the case, then all of us would be professional photographers. So photography is not easy. So you have to develop that skill. So there is subject and there's also the skill. Right, so you have to develop the skill both ways. First is obviously the equipment, right? You need to know your tool well. When I'm on a project site, I have no worry about the camera because I know my camera in and out. I have a few settings. I just know it. It's just organic. It just comes to me, and I don't worry about. I'm not a technical photographer. I'm not worried about the aperture or like the balance and all that stuff. I have a few settings which I know it'll work for this light or this occasion or which lens to
basics,
use.
yeah.
The basics, and that. There's no university like YouTube University, right? You can go on YouTube and learn all these skills, right? And gain knowledge. Listen, I've been in this industry for more than 20 years. Even now, I spend about 4 to 5 hours a week learning. Learning. That's the key. You got to keep learning. You can never come up and say, oh, I'm done. I know everything. You can't. Even now, I'm learning about equipment, about lenses, about all kinds of different styles of photography. So I think it's a lifelong learning curve. I'm not saying I'm done. I'm here. I'm still a growing photographer. There's so much more to be done. So never stop learning. And then the third is impact. If you really want your stories to impact, yes, there is social media and, everybody now is a photographer. Everybody has XYZ photography page. But I think if you really want to get your message out and you want to tell a better story, work with publications, work with journalists, put it in competitions or global platform where there's a jury where they will analyze your photo, and even if you can, if that competition has that, ask for feedback. Feedback is key. Ask the right people for feedback, not your auntie and your uncles and your mother and father on Instagram, right? Ask professionals for your feedback. You might not like it, but if you want to grow in this field, get the right feedback. Listen, I got a lot of feedback about my work from industry leaders, and I wasn't happy with it. But then I listened. I saw, okay, If he's saying I need to add more environment in my shots, okay, next project I'm going to work on it.
Correct.
Right, and that's the key. You have to listen to what industry experts say, and that's how I've been entering my work in photography competitions and exhibitions since 2016. Never won. Took me many years to win my first. 2022, I think, or 23 was my first award. I mean, I won an award many years ago, but that was local. Internationally, globally, to be recognized as one of the best in the world, it took me years of feedback, correction, and
feedback and consistency.
These are, I think, my way of growing. And I'm still getting feedback. I'm still looking at workshops. I'm still seeing where can I learn and who I can work with to learn better. You see, there's that curious desire, that childlike desire that I want to be best at what I do.
Praveen, I think, one is to come to that stage where you receive the award. That's one stage. But then it's also a stage to say, yes, I got it to the top, but then how do I keep going?
Yeah.
Some people, they come there and then they say, I'm done.
They saturate.
How do you keep it going?
Yeah. I'm inspired by a lot of things, Ashwin. I'm inspired by nature. I'm inspired by art. I love painting. I just, when I see something, it inspires me. Yeah, even recently I was, looking at a Van Gogh, and that inspired me. I was thinking, okay, next time I compose, I want to do an aerial shot, and this is how I want to have my image, right? So there are things in nature, even conversations. I'm inspired by people, right? I'm inspired by children. I like the way the kids react to things, and I think all this, in a way, inspires me as an artist. And you've got to have that space, right? You can never come and say, I'm done, I'm saturated. You always have to find, okay, if you feel like you've done enough in this body of work, why don't you try this? Recently, a few days ago, I was at a national park in Kenya, in Nakuru, and I'm not a wildlife photographer, right? That's not my zone, that's not my area. But I was excited. In my head, I'm thinking like I'm a big wildlife photographer, I'm not. And there was this incident when a rhino, came chasing at us, almost, I got scared. Right, and because I'm not a wildlife photographer, I missed that shot because I got scared and I moved off and I missed that shot. But I'm still excited about it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Even though it's not my field, it's not my zone or where I'm strong at, I was excited about wildlife and I'm thinking what kind of shots I should take. The night before, I went online and I saw some other photographers how they framed certain animals, and that helps me. Right, that there's always that curiosity, right? You need to have that in every field of work, in every aspect, not just photography or storytelling, but I think in every area you need to have that.
Praveen, I think this episode, the one key takeaway which I'm getting is, if you are an influencer, if you want to be good at it,
yes,
go after it.
Yeah.
Take professional feedback. And then you also said one more thing, apart from just posting in YouTube and other things. Yeah,
yes,
that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Go to the competition level.
Yes.
If you want to be a great storyteller.
Yes.
Post your photos, post your stories where people can read and evaluate,
Yeah.
And then you're saying, even after that, keep learning. That brings me to the next topic, Praveen, and we're going to do that in the next episode. And yes, it's great to listen to this, but then how do I start the art of storytelling with what I have?
Right.
People think, you need to have a excellent lens, big cameras, but then the next topic we're going to deal with is, how do we start with what we have?
Right.
I'm looking forward to, for the next episode, because everyone has got a phone camera. But then what do I do with it?
Yeah.
And how do I maximize it?
Right.
And how do I start with what I have? Praveen, it's a pleasure talking to you. I'm looking forward for the next episode. And friends, you're watching Let's Talk Influence, and you are more than a conqueror.